Another Blue Box episode. Last week we had a beautiful play that had some disaster strike, but at the same time still kind of went over successful, but then unfortunately brings in a bunch of rumors and things that Taiki does not want, things that don't go well either for Hina, if we're really being honest, because who the hell wants to hear all these rumors of you being shipped with the person that you like when you know that they don't like you back? So a lot of negatives, you know, that actually came out of it. Nobody even talking about the play, most of all, to get Taiki very upset. So we have to face a bunch of those things. We have to figure out where Miss Chinatsu comes from, what her thoughts are on it, what her opinions are in regards to the whole school gossiping and starting rumors. Is she just gonna not be phased? Is she gonna get completely phased by it and she's gonna lay off a little bit? Is she gonna put her foot on the gas a little bit more? Questions, you know, we gotta see where things go. Worried about just Hina and her whole mental, because it seems like the ultimate rejection is slowly coming up. Taiki and how he wants to handle it too. And then we also got introduced to Miss Ayame, who is intriguing, seemingly very different than your standard viewpoint on romance, especially within anime. So widely different perspective potentially to come into the fold that might mean that she's going to kind of come up to Taiki and become a menace and thinks he just wants to fool around a little bit, which isn't his vibe at all. But I mean, hey, maybe she can persuade him a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm assuming she becomes rather important. They hinted at like introduction of her over and over. So I don't see why she wouldn't be. But I'm excited to see that. So hopefully you are as well. If you like it all, like and subscribe down to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Let me comments what this better series is going. Episode 21. Congratulations.
こちらこそ。
My home is your home. Oh.
仲いいですね。
幼稚園からの付き合いだからね。
いつも通りだ。劇のことなんとも思ってない。
Well, she probably does, just don't want to be bringing it up. She probably has a lot going on in the brain.
本当は見に来てなかったとか。
You didn't even look for her?
ならそれで。
They were so stiff up there.
って言ってくれそうだし。千夏先輩。文化祭の劇のことなんですけど。
Let's not talk about that. Just keep feeding them. Yeah. Stuff them up real good. She loves to evade things.
たとえ千夏先輩が気にしてなかったとしても、俺は話がしたいのに。
Send the emote, brother. Send her the picture of the penguin.
話なら聞くぞ。え？安心しろ。俺は分かって
I
る。
don't think you do.
駅がキスしてない。
Oh, alright, never mind. He does.
付き合ってるなんてガセ。ガセだよな。そうですけど。
You wouldn't leave me. You wouldn't start dating somebody.
俺を裏切るな。西田の占いに密かに片思いしてた子が来て、陸部の人に片思いしてる。
No. Oh, that's awful.
流と波流の彼女さんとジョバスのカノさんと一緒に。やっぱり千夏先輩見てるじゃん。
Think she would lie?
2、3年の方でも噂になってたぞ。
Got the whole school on you.
あの新体操部の子有名だし、目撃してた人は事故って知ってるけど、こういう話は一人歩きするから。
Some people just live off this, you know? Listen, I love a messy drama and rumors as much as the next guy. Damn, she keep raising it.
前より値上がりしてる。
違うよ。二人
Alright.
俺も。
He's staring.
ひな。はーい。
やはり大気とはありえないな。
Oh, if only you knew.
ガツンと言っとくよ。
Thank you, Nishida.
ありがとうございます。
What a guy.
二人でしょ。付き合ってるって噂の。
な噂立ってるけど平気なの？また一緒に住むんでしょ？
I don't give a fuck.
ねえ見た？今のカリーみたいじゃなかった？
別にバスケのために
How are we making Kari references in the Big 25? Let's chill on this.
小さい頃はよく来てたのに。
最近は部活もあるから。
She doesn't seem phased.
部活って。カレンも仕事あるでしょ？それはそうだけど。ケンゴもしばらく部活が忙しいみたいで。こういう時冷たいんだよね。連絡も頻度落ちるからな。
そんなこと言って部活より自分優先されたら怒るくせに。
当然でしょ？
Doesn't mean I can't complain. Can't feel a way about it. Come on.
こいって思っちゃってるからね。
That's when Taiki likes her, at least we know too.
のタコアの友達でチーを紹介してって男の子。
Oh, brother.
連絡先教えてもらえない？
I don't know if that's what happened.
遠慮しとく。
Get off that.
だって知らない人と話すの苦手だもん。
I think she was looking more for. There might be somebody else.
幼稚園の中村先生にすら
She's been on that ball's life grind since she was
話せてるだけだ。
since she was young.
でも確かに私は他の子より上手じゃないかも。
もしかしてチー気になる人でもいるの？
Let me think.
そんな優しい顔すんの。
Let me dig deep.
うん。いるよ。
Okay. There's the confirmation. This is a huge moment.
それってもしかして
Don't pry.
猪俣
Chill on that. Oh, alright.
うん。
Okay. That's about as confirmed as we get.
まだそこまでではないかも。
Hmm.
は？あまだ
What do you mean by
そ
that?
こまで
なんて言うんだろ
I feel a way, but I don't know what that feeling is.
また独自の例えを。
う。気になるってことが芽が出た状態というか、朝練で見かけてるときはよくいる子だなってくらいだったけど、話すようになってどんな人か知ってこの人いいなって思うと目が成長
We're getting there. We're getting there. Slow burn.
いいなと思うことが増えるたびに
But you need more. Or just
どん
time.
どん大きくなるんだけど私がバスケに夢中だったり
Don't got time to pay attention. Yeah.
花が咲くまで至ってないというか、
咲いたら好きってことなのね。
それにこの前
Still
に起きた
sprouting.
ことがあって、
How'd that make you feel?
なんか
Hmm.
びっくりしちゃって。
I think I startled the whole school.
まあ私もなかなか人を好きにならないタイプだから、きっと恋愛のスピードって個人差あるんだよ。
Yeah.
チーは恋人が欲しいから恋愛しようってタイプじゃないし、恋愛に対してすごく慎重だなって思うから。
And it doesn't become her focus either. She got her other priorities.
けど、そんなこと言ってる間に他の人に取られたりする。
Might have to just push her a little
と
bit.
も言う。
I mean, look what just happened. Look at the rumors. And you damn well know somebody else already confessed. Like,
素敵な恋愛をしてほしいから。どんな瞬間かはわからないけど、千夏が誰かのことを好きだなって感じる時があったらさ、その時はちゃんと自分の気持ちを認めてあげてね。きっと千夏にとっては1ピース足りないんだろうな。
what would that be?
うちの妹には少し地位を見習ってほしいわ。
なんで？
どっかい引っかいしてんのよ。この前も歩くの早いから別れたとか言って。
おね
Assuming
え、
Ayame.
明かして。
Yeah.
噂をすれば。
Yeah.
この前あげたでしょ、あやめ。
もらってないよ。
今日彼氏とデートじゃなかったの？
Another one? Oh, really?
だってカフェで毎回 M と L サイズ聞き間違いされてるんだもん。はっきり話せやと思って。 けどもういいんだ。他に気になる人見つけたし。
Alright, what if somebody else comes along, right?
いつもお花畑って話よ。
ちなみにその人のどこが。顔。
What else would there be? Something tells me we're gonna have an interesting day at school today.
今日からお世話になります。
Welcome back to the family.
寂しかったわ。もうワンコみたいなものだから。
さあ、上がって上がって。他の荷物取ってくるよ。
So welcoming.
みたいにお寿司食べましょう。
We will celebrate your return. Go ahead, welcome home. Come on.
はいはい、荷物通りますよ。
Cut right through the tension.
さあ、ネット切れたの？
ガッとな。
うわ、人の道にないやつだ。なんて愚かな。
笑ってないだろ。やっぱりあの二人って。
Ah, brother.
ことだったんだ。
This is why you got no eyes and you're all shaded like that. This is the type of person you are.
噂の利用法を思いついたもんね。
利用法？
待機次第でいつでも本当のことにできるんだからね。聞いとる聞いとる。はっはっは。外堀は
Got you all flustered. Look at you.
しばらくはこの作戦でいくぞ。
の心配は何だったんだ。はあ、まあ、あれもひななりの気遣いなんだろうけど。
It's our way of coping with it too.
何も言うな。言ってないが。
You didn't even say anything.
次もユサ君に勝てるだけの力を。
それと今日から部員が1名増える。
I swear to God, if Yusa walks through this door,
と言っても選手ではなく
she's gonna join the team.
マネージャーになります。
Oh, okay.
ダメです。
Huh.
マネージャーになります。
Oh, really? Oh, really?
マッシュ君がいない。
え、
先々週くらいに体育館
青
で会ったんです。
Oh.
マッシュヘアのクールホスマッチョの。
もしかして、ユサ
You joined the team for somebody who's not on. Oh. Hmm.
え、じゃあ毎日会える。
So, what was the point?
他校だしね。
You're gonna have to transfer.
洗ったりできるんじゃ。
No. What?
それ
Okay.
やりたいの。
大変お世話になりました。
待て。
I've enjoyed this.
カレンの言った通りだな。急にマネージャーやるなんてうれ。
Yeah. Well, maybe you could find somebody else in the club.
顔がドタイプだったんだもん。あのクール
The grand plan.
ハリュー知り合いなのか。
彼女の妹。カレンさんの妹？
けどまた練習試合するだろうし、大会でも会えるよな。
Everybody just trying to get her to stay.
愛用ないし。
まあ
Alright, I'm in.
お世話になります。
I'll give it a shot.
破産的な子来た。
She's very different so far than I assumed.
物質。ちょっと散らかってるけど。
ちょっと誰か掃除しないの？くっそ。ありえない。
We haven't had anybody in your position, and none of us are gonna do it.
だな。カレンさんの妹って言ってたし、悪い人ではなさそうだけど。
You might not be cut out for those. So.
俺がなんかしたみたいじゃん。
今又くん。
What did you do to her?
俺は何も。ただ雲が。
早く逃げて。
Do something.
ティッシュとか。
素手でいけるでしょ。
Thank you. What a hero. What a hero.
あれ、千夏先輩、虫苦手じゃなかったっけ？
Just trying to get you off.
戦える。
克服したのか？
で、 なんであやめちゃんがダンバドの部室に？なんかマネージャーやることに。
Yeah, one thing led to another.
マネージャーだからこの人に仕事を教わってたの。
この人って。
そういえば名前なんだっけ？
猪俣大輝。
じゃあ猪田ね。
は？
行くよ猪田。
Natsu's like a nickname already?
ペットみたいに呼ぶな。
These are the types that get in between everything. Because they're so carefree in a way that they can just do everything that everyone else overthinks and worries on too much. But they're the ones who push the agenda a little bit more, you know? So they get Chinatsu thinking.
スピードって個人差あるんだよ。
Yep.
これか。
And if feelings develop, or not, but she just stays close, could be a problem.
よいしょ。バド部のマネージャーになった子だ。
Better stay away from him.
よくみんな動けるわ。
How dare you?
勝てないよ。どこで戦ってんの？どれどれ？
言いづらいんだけどさ。
ん？
少し距離近いかも。変な噂立つと悪いし。少し離れても。
And after what happened, I can't afford anymore.
噂？
That's gonna be ammo for her to tease him more.
君、白雪姫の王
You're the one who goes around just kissing on girls.
友達も話してたよ。いろいろ言われて大変でしょ。キスしたとかしてないとか。みんなキスくらいで騒ぎすぎだよね。
Alright.
くらいで？
まあ、気にしなくていいんじゃない？自分のこと大切に思ってくれる人の言うこと以外、ガン無視でも支障ないよ。
それはそれとして、もう少し離れていただけると。
What, you uncomfortable? Oh, brother. Why they got them all over the place here?
そうなんだ。
Perfect timing, of course. Again.
忘れ物。
Oh my god. A fun episode. Ayame is extremely just energetic and a joy to have on screen here. A little different than I think I was suspecting her to be. I guess I could have pieced it together more so on the mention of her carefree attitude and stuff. And while she does hold strong a little bit of those initial feelings and thoughts I was going to have of the type of character that she may be, they're not initially building her within one episode to be that, and they're changing it around because she's just fun. Like, it's just enjoyable whenever I see her. I think more so what I was expecting was her to be what we're seeing, but less, I guess, goofy in a way. And she's not even necessarily like trying to be. It's more of just her like freaking out over like the spiders and like the faces and the way that she is when she's like lugging around the water and everything. Like, I just assumed she would be a bit more maybe put together, but she would still be like the aggressive type that we were gonna assume. And I mean, she still is, where she's more carefree on the, I don't care if I, jump to say first names with you or start calling you by a nickname, or if I start getting really close in proximity to you, or I view things on like a completely different level. Her being Karen's sister also is just fun. It would make sense. I mean, the hair is similar enough colors, and it works really well to tie her into the story in a slightly different way, due to now having connections in some sort of way with already Haru, already with her sister, already, with anybody else. I guess Chinatsu in a way, with her coming over and being friends with Karen. So having all those different connections and then allowing her to be involved within the club at some sort of level then allows her to have other ones to get closer in proximity to Taiki to cause the kind of mess that she's essentially causing here. It works itself out to be rather nice. I'm just enjoying her presence in general. The rest of the episode's very simple, I think, really, to summarize. It's nice we finally get clarification on Chinatsu's end. While it's obvious, of course, her development of feelings and all of that stuff, we more so get the good stuff that comes out of it, with her finally openly admitting and that she has feelings in a way, but not knowing exactly the extent that they kind of run, and at the same time specifics on the person, so we don't have to get wondering, well, we already know, but like making assumptions, and it's one of those situations that even Karen tries to make note of, where like everybody moves at different paces, and sometimes she might already be at the level that we all want her to get to, or assume that she's already at, but she doesn't mentally know that yet. The different ways and experiences that you have that allow you to come to that conclusion and find your answer are things that she hasn't been able to really experience yet, and she hasn't necessarily shown interest in, even pointing back to the fact of when she's younger, ignoring all these sort of things and not taking up interest in anybody, and she was always so focused on like basketball and just like having fun and doing everything else that she does. And even now, likely still not even like maybe no personal experience with herself, but maybe even friends or people kind of close to her, always so focused on the one thing that she cares so much about. Also maybe doesn't consume any sorts of online type of things or media or anything that potentially involves that piques or sparks an interest into that sort of stuff. So she's just kind of lived her life not really knowing. So it's one of those things, if sure, but what are those feelings? You feel a type of way, but you can't really put them into words, and you don't want to jump to like the most drastic of conclusions, so you have to pace yourself and really be certain and really be sure on something, which is a understandable thing, and that's why everybody moves at completely different paces. And that's why like you can make all the complaints you want, which some people do, about how slow, like how much like slow burn some animes can really be, when it's obvious, of course, from episode 1 where it's headed, right? But it takes some people like more time. Some people just aren't comfortable jumping and diving into things. Some people want to dive into things instantly, and that's why it's such a fun genre to tackle, because you never really know how quick or what people really have to go through for them to experience and to ultimately have these feelings. The worst is, of course, when you get the series where they come to terms with those feelings like a couple episodes in, and then nobody says anything for however many. That shit sucks sometimes. But more of like when people are showing like uncertainties, or they're just kind of going through life and maybe not putting too much focus or attention on that, and just being like friends at a certain level, are always so fun, because when is that like one big moment going to come? And that's what even Karen makes note of. You're missing one piece within you, or one piece within this relationship that that you just don't have yet, and you probably don't know what it is, and nobody really knows what it is. But when it happens, when it hits, you'll know. And it's nice to give us that sort of info to understand that we are waiting for that ball to essentially drop here and figure out exactly what it is. I unfortunately feel like it might just be the idea that she can't recognize or realize her own feelings for somebody, or be comfortable with that until she knows the way that they feel. So she's like waiting on Taiki, even though it's like obvious, it's one of those things. I'm a little concerned it's going to be like that, because they're both forever going to be on the I have to be better or do something before I feel like worthy or something that I can say anything. So we're going to be in an endless cycle of this is never going to evolve into anything. But if that's not the case, and there is something else, maybe it's just fulfillment in other aspects of our life, right? It's I haven't completed the tasks or the goals that I've set out to. Nationals haven't been conquered in any sort of way. I haven't done what I've set out to do, so I can't have distractions or have these other things kind of get in the way along the way. And once I do, in that piece of me, that journey, that task that I've been like set out to kind of overcome gets complete, what do I have left, and where is my heart going to kind of lead me to, and what do I want next, what will fill that void next? And maybe obtaining or showing extra interest within potential relationship and everything can be the spark that she ends up needing there, can be the thing to like that fire in her heart a little bit more, right? It's going to be interesting, I think, to see exactly where they head, but it's fun to see. I want to check out Miss Ayame's voice actress. We purposely skipped it last week because I wanted to see if she became more involved, and she sounds so familiar to me, but I can't put my finger on who. So now I will say Soletta. Okay, that's what I was getting. That's what I was. Fern, of course, but I wasn't hearing Fern. I was hearing the Soletta in her. That's what I was getting. Okay, that makes plenty of sense to me. I knew it was somebody I was very familiar with, or maybe Maki. Maki and Soletta have a very similar feeling to them. They're very different characters in a way, but like similar in the way that she has different, I don't know how to describe it. It might be more Maki, actually, the more I think about it. Probably more Maki, yeah. Just like the goofy, like yeah, it's definitely no. I mean, because Soletta has that too. They're close. I hear both. Skimming on through here, Chinatsu purposely avoiding the conversation. She's consistently been someone who has done this, who's made that extra effort to avoid these sort of talks and these sort of conversations. And I suspect it's more of the uncertainty in her own head on how she feels, that she doesn't necessarily want to say anything. Although in this situation, Taiki probably didn't really want anything from her. He just wanted to clear things up. It still is like she just doesn't want to have to get to that point again. And that's why Chinatsu's, thing that she whispered to him in the previous episode or two at the little concert, and once again here, and just ignoring the thing that the person says, trying to get off topic, trying to move on and skip past it because you don't want to have to face that confrontation, which is like fair, right? It's fair. It sucks. You'd rather just clear it up and get it out the way. But I do think if Taiki really wanted to, he doesn't have to speak to her like this. He could just shoot her a text and be like, it didn't happen, so if he really wants to and he feels that she's trying to avoid it, he could force it in a way that doesn't involve her having to physically see him. And then she can take the steps that she wants to, so she doesn't feel backed into a corner of immediately responding or even responding at all. And he can also just state it I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. So there is ways that he can get that out and say that. But it's obvious that she has a lot of things that she doesn't like to speak on, or she doesn't like to really go into if she's not comfortable or potentially isn't ready for it at that point, which I would assume more so she's not ready for that conversation, simply through her next conversation we get later with Karen here, that we end up finding out more and more about the way she feels and the way that the feelings and everything kind of get developed, and the difference in all of that from typically what you would expect with people. I love Nishida being completely destroyed over this. You cannot leave me. You cannot do that to me. Up in the charge because there's two. Great. Love her. And of course, we have to focus multiple times throughout the episode on everybody who's potentially looking into what their relationship is and speculating and causing all these rumors, the things that we don't want. I like how later Hina does flip it in a way that's more beneficial, although she's using it as some sort of device to make herself feel better about the situation, of course. It still is nice that she was able to spark a little positive potentially out of it. And while everybody's doing that, you get the pan to Chinatsu, who is in her own little land here and doesn't even care. Just like Kari. Yeah, I don't know about all that one. Kari probably would have missed that big shot at the end of the national game, but it's all good. And we have our conversation, which is really sweet, and I like it, and I like the way that it all gets kind of approached in a way, figuring out the slowness of Chinatsu overall and the way that her feelings develop and how she's a little different than most people and hasn't really paid a lot of attention to it, but she is comfortable enough, at least to Karen, to open up and give her this info, I guess I should say, that this is the person. She's not trying to hide that in any sort of way. She shows that she is comfortable enough admitting that to Karen. This is somebody who is likely her closest friend. Well, we've seen her be close to the other one that she plays basketball in her club with. This is really her number one. This is the person that she goes to, that she's comfortable admitting all these things to, which also works out because nobody goes to this school, right? So, or Karen doesn't go to the school, so you don't have to worry about potentially spilling or having that info come out. Now we create potentially another really bad layer that comes out of this, with Ayame being here and potentially Karen leaking information, maybe unintentionally at a point, that then gets out and causes things to get really messy. There's always that chance, but it remains to be seen, so we'll let it play out. I am surprised, though, the more I'm thinking about it now, the mention to her friend at school that she's been living with him, and then even the other people potentially overhearing it, even if they didn't, definitely opens the door for more and more people to kind of become aware of this, not by her telling, but by more rumors and stuff end up spreading. So it's intriguing to know that nobody else has really figured out or been told this. So I guess we just tell the right people and they're good at keeping secrets and everything, but it could get really bad and messy. And I was assuming stuff like that was going to come out. And I thought that this would be a really good chance for it to occur when all these rumors of he's going out with this other girl would happen, and then potentially people start noticing or making note of the fact that she lives with this dude or something. So it's like, hold on, what's going on here? And then everything gets really weird. I like the way that she describes it, though. How it's just slowly been getting bigger and bigger, but it hasn't gotten to that point where it's reached its full bloom. And at the same time, she's so focused on playing basketball and doing her own thing that you get into a scenario like this where you forget about it sometimes, or you're so obsessed or focused on something else where you just overlook it for a little bit. And then what happens? The thing starts to have no progress. The thing potentially starts to die out. Things could go really negative. Things could go just bad in general. And now what do? How do you navigate the situation that you find yourself in? Do you just give up on it entirely? And that's the struggle that, of course, she's going to face, where she is always going to have her number one in basketball and the goals that she's trying to achieve in there. So this thing always has to take number two. And are you comfortable enough doing that? Are you comfortable enough putting that person on the back burner like that? And that's a scenario that Karen finds herself in, of course, too, right? Her and Haru having these things that they strive for, that they care so much for, and that they are actively working very, very hard to kind of accomplish and do. And each of each other love seeing the other one succeed in those things that they love. What happens, though, to your relationship? How do you properly balance that? And that's an issue that they always face. And it's lovely to see that Haru and Karen have found that balance between how they want to balance this and how to properly make these things work out. And make their relationship still work. But it's not something that's as easy for every single person to actually do, especially when you're uncertain of each other's feelings, when you're uncertain of your own as well. Can you give enough time that person will feel confident or comfortable in any sort of way while you're so focused on this other thing, and you're not going to be like one of the more important things within their life? It's just a big mess of a situation that they put themselves in, potentially. And as Karen and Haru have already just demonstrated, it's very easy for them to be able to navigate this, or not even easy. They talk about how difficult it is, but just because they can, doesn't mean it's always going to work. So Chinatsu's struggling very much to balance that and not necessarily know, and also still just not understanding her own feelings and stuff either. I love the little note too that we end up getting from Karen of like, oh yeah, I got this other friend who might be interested in you too, just to like get her to openly like come out and state all the stuff that she did. But this, of course, the most important thing, everybody goes at different speeds when it comes to it, right? Her sister, which we demonstrate and she even talks about, moves at a very rapid pace. And even her and Haru had known each other for how long, and have each probably felt this way for how long, and just couldn't openly admit that. And in her situation, it took that one big event, that one big moment of him showing up at that point when she was down, of course, and doing this like silly gesture that allowed her to feel like, fuck it, this is the one, this is the moment, this is like the full blossom that we're going to be able to get. We just haven't had that for Chinatsu, unfortunately. Which the birthday thing was pretty damn good, so I wonder what she wants. But still caring for her at the end of the day and wanting her to experience something still. By the way, yeah, my sister's terrible when it comes to this. Of course, she steps right in. So you're going on a date? No, I'm good off him. And then we demonstrate the complete opposite type of person, right? The person who wants to slowly build up that chemistry, who wants to slowly build up and understand and really know the person and know what she's getting into. Her sister's completely different, on the other hand, right? She finds one thing. She's the exact person who finds like the single red flag or ick in a person, and they just immediately turned off. They're the person who's unrealistic. You know those videos people go around and they're like, this person's a 10, but they like, I don't know, like chew with their mouth open or something. And then people are like, ew, they're like a 3. It's like, no, the fuck they're not. If you're 10, you're not going to a 3. Like, let's just be logical about this. That could be something that really bothers you, but that could also be something that could be worked on. And that's something that you could figure out. Like, you're being too much. That's what Ayame is, right? She finds that one person, right? This person's a 10, but they struggle to enhance their voice in any way, right? To speak a little bit more clear to these people and to not just let other people do things. Like if something's wrong, speak up on it. And it's this one instance, this one thing that occurs, and she immediately was like, nah, I'm good with you. She finds that she's okay with moving at a fast pace, and she's okay with just understanding that I don't like this, I'm good to move away from this. Not I don't like this, let me work through this, let me see if this is something I'm comfortable with making that sacrifice for all the other potential positives and benefits and things that kind of come along with it. She's very, very opposite, which is why she works so perfect, which of course we end up getting to see later in the episode, where her ability to not care and be so carefree with all of this is letting her get that closer proximity to somebody like Taiki, who's going to cause Chinatsu to overly think about everything that's happening, to consistently sit there and be stuck in her own head about why is this person capable of doing all this stuff? How are they closing the gap? How are they doing all of this when I can't even do this? And then makes them feel maybe inferior in a way, but also potentially makes them want to come to those terms of their own feelings way, way, way faster. And if that happens, that's typically what you get in a lot of these different series, and it's a reason why they always introduce another person who potentially shows an interest who's the complete opposite of, say, somebody like Chinatsu here, because they allow the narrative to get kind of driven forward way faster. They allow things to be pushed by being that person who applies the pressure in some sort of way. And while she's not necessarily doing any of this stuff right now to spite Chinatsu or to like get things for her own benefit, and she's just being goofy in a way, she's just being herself, really. It's something that Chinatsu is going to take note of, which we get very clear mentions in notes of that throughout the remainder of this episode. She comes back in, parents cut right through before they can, of course, say anything. I love Hina flipping this into a positive. Yes, the rumors were true. Yeah, by the way, we can just make that real whenever you want. I love her. She's so great. Look at her, just happily running away. Guess that works for her. Don't say anything. I literally have them. And I still strongly think that that's just her covering those feelings that she has, right? She's coping with it in a sort of way that she's like, let me find all the like positives that I can pull out of this to make myself like try and justify why I'm okay with it when in reality I'm not. Would make a lot of sense. But here we go. Here's Ayame. I love her just joining because of Yusa, but him not even going to the school at all, being completely confused by it. And now she's just trapped and stuck doing something. I just love that. Oh, thanks guys. It's been fun. I'm only here for this. And unfortunately, she has to stick through it. All right, I'll give it a shot. Show you around. Everything's such a mess. And of course, the spider. Chinatsu has to see it. He's very hands-on, right? This sparks Chinatsu to go do something. I thought she was afraid of these things. Well, look what happened. She wanted you guys to be... She wanted her off of you, right? She wanted to... wanted to get rid of her in some sort of way. By the way, I have a name. Oh, what is it? Here's your nickname then. Chinatsu's like, what the fuck? Seeing them walk away together too. Thinking about the speeds that everybody moves at and the way that she potentially feels about this. Even Hina, I love just like going to the different members and each of them finding something to be like, I can't compete in any sort of way. This girl's too much. She's got everything. Once again, getting close. I love Taiki trying to set the boundaries and let it know, like, I'm not comfortable with this. And him being fully okay with vocalizing that is great. You shouldn't value that, though. Only value the opinions of the ones that you care about and the ones that you love, right? That's a great way to think about it. But it is hard. Sometimes there's a limit. Sometimes when everybody's doing it, sometimes you just can't block it all out. Some people are better at it than others. It's easier said than done for sure, but it's a great mindset at least to have. great thing for her to say that he probably really hadn't considered either. And of course, it grabs right back on because of the spider. Here's Chinatsu who sees it for a second time. Let me not even entertain this. Let me just turn around and run away from it. Really fun episode. I love the introduction of Ayame. I think she's great so far, and I'm thrilled to see where else she comes in. I do think she's going to make things a little messy. Maybe not even intentionally. Maybe even intentionally. But we'll end up seeing. Maybe not due to her closeness, almost in a way, like her interest that she seemed to have when Chinatsu was over and everything. Like, I don't think she would want to really get in the way and cause any like just crazy harm. So we'll wait and see, but I don't know. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you liked it, I'll hit like and subscribe. Feel free to check out the video channel. Leave comments on this video series. We'll be back for episode 22 next week. It was a great one. Peace.